good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of FSTN's All-Time Sports Network, edition of Cop Talk. Nice to have you on board, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Tabrice. How are we doing, sir?
I am well. I'm well. You know, slightly wet, but you know, I'm okay. Well, not slightly wet now.
Yeah, okay.
There's no innuendos here.
You know what? I wasn't really. You know what? I was going to try and move past that one neatly. I was. You get me?
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Good evening, Stoney. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you. Listen, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm happy to be here again on the show. I cannot beat Tabrice's entry. I'm just putting it out there, but I am well. I'm very well.
Good. And just so you all remember that we are sponsored by Global Mapping Surveys. So Global Mapping Surveys currently assist architects, property developers, construction companies all over the country, and they offer a wide range of services such as setting up topographical surveys, 3D lasering, scanning and monitoring. And do remember, you can find them at www.globalmappingsurveys.co.uk. And if you mention Cop Talk, you will get a discount. And we're going to say, just for Tabrice, we're going to say good evening, Mr. Mr. Just for Tabrice. Good evening, Mr. B. Good evening, Solo. And good evening, Vinny, as usual. Nice to have you all on board. I'm actually going to leave this one on the screen for Tabrice. I have to leave that one up there for now. So, gentlemen. We will briefly talk about, because we didn't get a chance to talk about Leeds. No, that's a hard one. I know Tabrice has got split loyalties there, so he wasn't really fussed either way. Yeah. So I'm going to say the same thing as what I said again, like against Forest, that we created chances again and just didn't finish our dinner, man. We had chances again. What went wrong? What do you reckon went wrong against Leeds?
I think I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I don't want this to sound boring. But honestly, we are not good enough. I don't care what people say. I think Klopp is beginning to lose the dressing room. I don't care what, honestly, but for me, the Napoli result, I don't care about that because we've already qualified. You can't lose against Leeds and Nottingham Forest and expect to finish in the top four. Trent has admittedly said that there's something wrong at Liverpool. And I think it's Klopp.
Jeez.
I genuinely think it's Klopp.
Tabrice is not holding no punches, boy.
It's
What happened to In Klopp We Trust?
Not for me now.
Oof.
Wow. That's big. That's big. That's big. Stoney.
Do you know what? It hurts me to actually say this, right? It really, really, really hurts me to say this. There's a lot of truth in what Tabrice is actually saying. I'm actually fighting with myself, with my love, my passion, what I actually want for our club at the moment. Also with Klopp actually being the right man or not the right man. I'm also fighting with the fact that a couple of seasons ago, we understood that we needed to move on a lot of players, bring in a lot of new players. That whole transitional period, how FSG is managing our club. I'm actually going through a series of emotions with Liverpool. Do I want Klopp to remain? Yes. And the reason why I want him to remain is at the end of this season, we're probably going to look at quite a few players probably moving on. So we're just giving an example, right? Whether that's Bobby moving on, whether that's Naby moving on, whether it's Ox moving on, and new players actually coming in. I want to actually see Klopp have an opportunity to rebuild our club. I think the break that everybody's going to have with the World Cup and see what happened in the new year is going to be quite interesting. However, we're looking at the resurgence of Arsenal. We're looking at Man City still punching at the level that they're meant to be punching at. Where does that leave Liverpool? Have we got time to rebuild before they actually leave us? A lot of emotions. In the small snippet, Tabrice was correct in what he was saying. I'm not going to question that. But I think our main thing was about the Leeds performance. Is that correct, RT? You were asking me to mention about that.
Yes.
The same thing about us not finishing our dinner. If we have 22 shots on goal, and we did have 22 shots on goal, and Leeds had 14, and we still come away losing 2-1, there's an issue. There's concern. And probably same thing what Tabrice was saying. We went into Napoli there. It's strange. It's almost a strange thing.
Just stick up in 1 minute. Just 1 minute, yeah? You can, just remember your trade of 4. But I just need to just question on something you just said there, art something. You see what you said about 22 shots on goal. There's an issue there. We did the same thing against Real Madrid in the final, and nobody questions nothing about that. All of a sudden, because it's Real Madrid, Courtois had a game of his life.
He did, but RT, this could happen. This could happen.
This could happen with other keepers.
Definitely, but look, we had those 22 shots. Melon, what's the Leeds goalkeeper? I do begins with M. I do apologize.
Yeah.
All right,
it's a German geezer anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So check this. Just check this. All right. We and this is me. I shouldn't say we. All right. I should not be thinking that every single game, regardless of how many shots Liverpool have on target, that their goalkeeper is man of the match. We need to finish those shots. So let's think of it this way, right? We had 22 shots against Leeds. Leeds goalkeeper was probably the man of the match. In the first leg against Rangers, McGregor had an absolutely blinder. How many shots he had at that, right? And in the return leg, we had even more shots. It's just that we actually finished our goals. So for me, and that's why I said I'm quite in a position of contrast here. If we are finishing those chances, then Liverpool looks completely different. But we're not finishing the chances, and that is whether that's to do with us or whether it's to do with the opposition. And that's what I'm saying at the moment. I'm almost conflicted in the way that I'm actually feeling about Liverpool. So the main thing was, as you were saying, we're just focused on the Leeds game. I have to be honest. I'm conflicted. I feel quite conflicted, and I'm challenging my own thoughts.
Like we are talking about a Leeds team who have struggled in the past weeks, and Leeds came to Anfield and outworked us. There's like one thing about losing, but when you're outworking a team, and when you think if things are not going right for you, the basics that you can do is run. I know that's the basic principle of football, but if I believe Leeds was it. I think it was 9 or 10 kilometers that they actually ran more than Liverpool. And
all right, hold on.
You know, it's not good enough.
Once again, though, you have to remember our squad is knackered.
I know, but why are they knackered though, RT?
Exactly.
And you expect them to be able to run the same amount? We've been talking about for weeks now since this season started. We've been talking about Fabinho ain't got the legs no more. We've been talking about that.
But RT, why are they knackered? Why are they knackered? How can they be knackered?
They've been through
exactly.
Which is what,
and so forth. Playing every single game that was possibly available to them.
I'm going to question that. And the only reason I'm going to say that, right, is our club are expected to be challenging for the Premier League. We're expected to be challenging for the Champions League. We expected to challenge for the FA Cup and the League Cup. That's just my opinion. All right. So if they're knackered, it's a question of quite a few things. It's to do with the players, it's to do with our squad depth, it's to do with our managers, and it's to do with our coaching staff. So that's what I was saying. I'm quite conflicted at the moment. There are a lot of
Not
issues.
all of that.
Artie,
I think
we're in November.
our
We
squad.
shouldn't be tied in November.
We should not be tied in
have the squad to be playing all them games like that.
No, but again,
We've got to remember, we've played every single game that's available last season. We've gone into this season with a depleted squad full of injuries, and them same guys are knackered. How do you expect to compete on the same front?
Can I say something again? I'm just going to be quite provocative. I know I was in the same ritual vein last week, and I don't know whether I've got my Manchester United hat on or my Arsenal hat on or my Everton hat. I don't know. We would have known as a club that last year we were depleted squad wise, and we all know for various reasons. All right. So whether it was to do with injury, XYZ, all right, we've come into this season knowing that there was a small chance we would have had the same issues, and we're having injuries, whether that's on field or whether it's to do with training, whether it's to do with muscle, anything like that. A club at our level should not be going into another season knowing what happened to us last season in the same situation. And once again, that is why I'm conflicted, RT. We shouldn't be doing it, but yet we've done it again.
Stoney, great point, and I fully agree with you. But my point is this, and my question is this, is that Klopp or is that FSG?
It's a combination of.
To bring in the reinforcements.
Klopp as our manager is employed by FSG. If he's not happy with the package, then you know what? I absolutely love Klopp. I absolutely love what he's actually done for our club. All right. If Klopp is not happy with FSG, I don't believe that he would still remain there. Therefore, my personal belief is he understands what their vision is and he's part of that vision. That's just my opinion anyway.
Yeah, facts. And, you know, if you can think about it, Chelsea, City, and even United, within these years that Liverpool have been successful, there, you know, there's been a number of, I'd say, transitions throughout the whole team. When like Bobby, when Mane, and when Salah were literally at their pomp, that is when you really rebulk the side. And no matter what people, you know, say about Thiago and, you know, especially Thiago, for me, that's a wrong signing because, you know, he kind of comes to Liverpool as an injury-prone player. As talented as, you know, this player is, we all know what his weaknesses are, and that's his weakness. That has been the issue since probably Salah came, and probably since Salah scored, is it like 30, 40 goals in that season? We've not really gone out and said, you know what, we're going to really spend big and really make sure that every single player they literally have to fight for their position. And right now we are being found out. And yeah, you know what? Milner should not be playing, even though like I love Milner. Henderson, suspect. Even like Van Dijk, you know, Van Dijk has improved a little bit, but you know, let's not beat around the bush here. Like, we are not good enough to actually get into Europe like right now. We are blowing hot and cold. And you know, for a team to like finish second last season, and you know, again, yeah, we are current FA Cup and League Cup holders. There should be money in the bank. And yes, we bought Darwin, and I still think Darwin will actually do okay. But in midfield, Arthur, you know, I don't want to even swear operation.
Yeah,
he's a lone player. Like, come on, like we are a top 4 club.
We can't even send him back on loan. We have to keep him for the 6 months.
Yeah, it's honestly like it's the, you know, it's on the verge of embarrassing.
Yeah,
and you know, I think if like, well, for me personally, I think it's time for, like, you know, Klopp to really evaluate his like position at Liverpool, because now he is now going into uncharted territory now, and at this present moment, like he's not cutting the mustard. He isn't.
Okay, Stoney, sorry, just before I bring you in quickly, Stoney, can we just say that your brother's saying you're looking like an NW10 Terminator with them glasses?
Oh my God.
We are going to say
NW10 is not on my postcode, brother. I don't live in NW10. Nothing wrong with Northwest. I still live in Northwest, but it's not NW10. So.
Good evening, Mr. Bingy B. Nice to have you on board, sir. And Vinny, when I mentioned that we're going to talk about Leeds, that's what he says. Do we have to? And of course, Mr. B piped in with, "Oh yes, we do, Vinny." I'm going to say, squad is knackered, injury ravaged. Squad. Vinny's saying that he agrees with me on this. Mr. B is saying you spent your whole budget on Nunes. No, we didn't. We spent our whole budget. All right. Technically, I'd say we spent the budget that FSG has given Klopp, but I don't think that's our whole budget. There is money in the bank. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah.
There's money in the bank. 100%. Bingy saying, so Klopp is happy with the midfielders he has. I don't believe he is, but he ain't going to say that publicly. And we've got two midfielders who underwhelmed. Naby and Ox. We've got more chance of Lord Luca getting picked than Arthur Melo at the moment. Yeah, very, very true, really. Desby, good evening, Desby. How you doing, sir? So good evening, bros. We've got to look at the owners. They're more interested in expanding the stadium than improving the team. Keep
that point. And do you know why? Good evening, Desby. I think if I'm incorrect in saying this, I do apologize. I think the name is somebody new. So welcome and thank you very much for tuning into Cop Talk on a Thursday at 10 o'clock. This in part to, I know there's a lot of questions about our owners and what FSG are doing for us and whether that's about them looking long-term in terms of developing the stadium, because it's clear at some stage we were looking to move. It doesn't seem that's going to happen. So we're clearly developing a stadium. So you're right what Desby was saying. Are they more interested in developing the stadium to bring in more stadium revenue, or are they more focused on strengthening our playing squad? At the moment, there does seem to be more emphasis on the stadium, which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. But then what impact does that have on us, on our playing squad? We can have a beautiful stadium, not as nice as Tottenham. I'll put it out there. We could have a beautiful stadium, but if then we're not challenging, what then happens there? And it's clear, it is very, very clear for us who love our club and others who actually watch our club in envy that we have an issue in terms of strength and depth in our squad.
We could become Arsenal when Arsenal moved to the Emirates. Those 5-6 years of absolute wilderness, and again, it's very worrying now. And when we're talking about like Liverpool's dominance, and literally I use dominance very loosely here. It's just a blip in the ocean. Yes, I do agree in terms of creating a legacy, i.e. building a bigger stadium. Yes, it's going to bring more revenue. You have to move with the times. However, we as fans, we look at the squad and, we look at the performances and we kind of look at and we listen to what Klopp says. We can listen to even what Trent has, again, openly said there's something wrong. And even Van Dijk looks a little bit confused as well. Honestly, I do believe that there's a shift in the changing room and Klopp is beginning to lose the plot. 100%. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Like, let's not pretend that we're gonna, get in the top 4. Let's not pretend that we're way down from Manchester City, Manchester United, even Newcastle, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. There's like 7 teams that if they played us right now, I don't think we would win any of those games.
I think it's almost as if the fear factor is actually gone, if we think of the transition to how we played last season, and I know we were on a show, and as much as we were winning, we were galvanized, we were happy with how we were playing, but I think we were almost quite honest in saying, obviously we knew there was areas of development that we knew was needed in our squad. So it seems as if teams are now playing us and they don't fear us. It's almost as if they had absolutely no respect, whether we're playing at home or away. And I think for me, that's a very, very, very big concern for me. I think one of the things, that we was mentioning about transitions, and Tabrice was quite articulate and obviously saying about Klopp probably having to address different issues at the club. One of the things we have actually done, we've actually recruited a new medical team as well, so a new doctor. And one of the things that we've obviously spoken about, and I think it was Vinny that actually mentioned it in the feed, was the amount of injuries we're currently having, especially muscle injuries as well, or players that have been out injured and not returning for a very long period of time. And some of those injuries that we've seen is not just on match day, it's during training as well. So as you said, there's a lot of changes that are currently being implemented, but it seems as if we need it sooner than later.
Okay. All right. Question 4 to Brees. Bingy asks, who do we get to replace Klopp?
I wouldn't touch Poch. I would say Thomas Tuchel. I think he can has the experience. He literally has the influence, and he's kind of got the
Tuchel.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel, 100%. I would kind of even go as far, and literally, I know that this club won't even let him go, but Eddie Howe has gone up in my estimation. Big style. Eddie Howe at Liverpool would be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Did you just say Eddie Howe?
Yeah.
Eddie Howe.
Okay.
Eddie Howe, 100%.
So
Brees, again,
Brees really pulls them out, boy. I tell you,
we have become soft this season, and literally, we're not talking in the last couple of games from the Fulham game. Okay. We have a soft belly, and yes, okay, we can turn up against Man City. Anyone can raise their game 5, 10, percent. That's all right. But when the going gets tough, when you're kind of looking at, yes, okay, Salah's now beginning to get his rhythm back slowly but surely, but it's too late. It's too late. Van Dijk looks a shadow of himself. Fab looks a shadow of himself. It's and again, I don't know if you guys know that Jordan Henderson's now brought out a book as well. Great timing.
Okay.
So literally that's going to be a very interesting read as well. The club is honestly there's a big storm coming, and literally I think it's time for Klopp to go.
Wow. All right. I think that's and you know what, that is what the beauty of this show is about. That is what the beauty of opinions are about as well. And that's why I respect you, Tabrice, for mentioning that. And if that's your personal opinion and you got justification, then that's fine. What that does, that creates comments, that creates thoughts as well. So I think that's why it's excellent. What I think we're experiencing is that transition, and that transition comes in so many different forms. It comes with emotions, it comes with thoughts, it comes with, and I'm not talking about you, Tabrice, here, right? It comes with knee-jerk reactions. It comes with looking at the future. It comes with where we are in terms of our owners and our current players and future players. And it's going to get very interesting. It's going to get very interesting.
Liverpool would really have to spend big. I think FSG in January would really have to do something special for I'd say, well, for like me to actually change my opinion. And again, yes, football is very fickle. Yes, I am, with with a 10, 15 game winning streak, I may change my tune. But at this present moment in time, in January, it's going to be very interesting. At the end of the season, it's going to be interesting. If Liverpool don't get in the top 4, like the revenue that we're going to lose is going to be, I mean, literally, I can't even imagine. And then who would want to come to Liverpool? It's like flogging a dead donkey. Seriously.
Not even a dead horse.
Tabriz, who upset you this evening, man?
You understand? Jeez.
You sound like me. This is how I was last week. Who upset you?
Are you not taking it in turns?
We had the same meal. I think we went to the same restaurant and we had the same meal. I was quite upset last week. And Tabriz is just taking over the baton.
Oh, but Vinny says it's a case of the chicken or the egg regarding the stadium or the squad. And Des B says also, as fans, we can't complain. When they tried to increase ticket prices, there was an outcry and then FSG backed down.
No, but see, ticket prices, every single Premiership club, I believe, could let their fans watch their beloved club for free. Those, like the money that they get for that stadium, it doesn't even pay half of what like the average Liverpool player earns. Let's be absolutely real here.
Yeah.
When COVID was like, in its kind of savage moments, football was still continuing. Manchester City paid 100 million in the COVID era for Grealish. So let's not pretend that ticket sales is gonna, is literally gonna help.
Were the clubs backed by the government? Didn't the government give them some money or something, bro?
No, they didn't. No,
they didn't.
I think.
Why do I remember something about them getting some money?
No, I think Liverpool. I heard that Liverpool applied for it, but then there was and then there was a huge backlash.
Okay. All right. This one's to Tabriz. Obviously, losing the plot is a bit harsh. What may be the cause is squad has aged and certain players have become deaf to Klopp's demand.
But again, you like go down to Klopp and his management staff, and like we would assume that they would know every player has a cycle of 4 to 7 years at the top, especially when you're playing for a big club like Liverpool. Why can't we all identify potential players that we can actually bring in rather than bringing in Diaz because Tottenham wanted him and literally we kind of rushed that signing? And I think they blatantly knew about their kind of Mane leaving. They blatantly knew that, of course, Henderson's getting older and literally he was kind of getting more injury prone last season. Milner, Ox, Naby, even Matip as well. Like we can't. Thiago, come on, like it's not rocket science.
And Vinny goes on to say, which is why other teams freshen up frequently. Very true.
Yeah.
And this is a point that I was actually gonna bring up. Vinny's jumped on it. So hasn't Klopp got enough credit in the bank to give him that opportunity to rebuild the squad?
No.
Wow.
Because, and and like people like may say Chelsea is the wrong model, but Di Matteo won Chelsea's first Champions League, and then within a couple of months afterwards, he got sacked because of results. This is a results business.
Yeah, I think on that, I do agree. It's a results business, but you know what? Liverpool have results. Let's rewind back to what we did last year, or what we were in the potential of last year doing. All right, the potential of winning 4 trophies, we ended up with 2. All right, so I understand and I get it about where we are regarding last season to now. I am not going to give any form of false information and give the impression that I'm happy with our squad, because I'm not. I believe that we should be stronger. I believe we should be higher in the table and punching higher above the weight than we actually are. But I think we need to give Klopp this actually moment of calm. It's not like we're in the doldrums. We're not in a position that we want to be. And you know what? Worst case scenario, as much as it hurts me to say it, even if we don't finish in the Champions League, you know what? It's not the end of the world. For me personally, in terms of Liverpool, I'm talking about, it's not the end of the world. We can still regroup.
We've been there before.
We can still refresh. So it's not, we in my heart, we are not winning the league. We're not. Are we still in a position of finishing the top 4? Yes, I believe so. I believe that Tottenham are going to have a little shudder. I believe that Chelsea are going to have a little shudder. I believe that Man United may well have a little shudder. So above us, we're looking at Man City. We're looking at Arsenal. We don't know what's going to happen with Arsenal in the new year. And the team that seemed to be in a rich vein of form is Newcastle. But we still got the potential of finishing 4th. And if we don't, then for me, I still believe we can attract the players that we wish or need to, and we'll still be in a good position for next season.
So do you think if we lose against Spurs on Sunday,
yeah,
we will finish in the top 4? Because
well, do you know what? Check this, Tabrice, right? I see this season as being an indifferent season and a season of 2 parts, because obviously we've got Spurs, then we got Derby, then we got Southampton. No games until the 26th, and then we regroup at 26th of December. Then we regroup for what would really be part of the second season. All right. Devil's advocate. Suppose we have an enriched second part of the season, and then we do rebuild, we do regroup. What we're saying here can be completely washed away. Really, I mean, that's my hope. Maybe I'm just an optimist and probably not a realist. But I still do believe that what we're experiencing now will not be replicated in the second part of this season.
I'm also of the thoughts that it's all about what happens in January, come spending wise as well. Do we go out and purchase players? You know what I mean? New players coming in, players coming back from injury. If we got a refreshed squad or whatever, and we've got new players in, then who knows how the rest of it could pan out. I'm not going to wash my hands off it yet. What have we done now? What, 12 or 13 games? That's 25 games left to play, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not throwing in the towel just yet. I'm not going to throw in the towel just yet. There's 25 games to go. If you're telling me like, yeah, there's 10 games to go, then fair enough. That I could understand. But there's 25 games to go. No chance am I going to throw in the towel yet. And the transfer window. Hell no.
Tabrice, can I just ask you a question? I'm just gonna roll it out there, right? I know it's completely off the cuff. If as an example we were to finish based on how we've started at the season, and you've made valid points, okay? If we were to finish in the top 4, forget about winning the league. If we were to finish in the top 4, would you see that still being as a positive season for us?
Yes, I would actually. With the start that we've made and like how the squad is depleted and how certain players are acting, it will be a success, 100%.
Okay, so
because again, like, let's be real, like we are fans that want success, and when we say success, we want trophies, but also as well, we are realists, and like we know getting in the top 4 will like give the club the revenue to actually go out and attract the A-class player, and that's what we want.
But we've never attracted the A-class player though. I think we have to be honest with ourselves. I think we have to be honest with ourselves. We have never ever attracted an A-class player. I'm thinking, and correct me here,
okay,
not just the panel, but anybody tuning in as well.
Torres,
correct me. But look how long ago Torres was then. If you think of it like that. Keep going. Look, see, even you're questioning it as well, Fabrice. We've
most
never
of the players,
that A-class
most of the
player.
players that we brought in, Klopp has made them better players.
You see that Fabrice is still thinking.
They weren't that big before, or they weren't doing well at the previous club, and Klopp's brought them in, and then they've done well. Mane weren't no big boy baller. Salah had a torrid time at Chelsea. Fabinho was okay, weren't no big boy baller. Van Dijk was all Celtic. Come on. I'm telling you, come on.
That's what I was saying. We have to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, come on.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's a hard one,
Robertson was at 6 million from Hull or 8 million from Hull. Please.
Okay.
But we've never really been buying players like that, to be fair.
Yeah. And that's what I say. Even that, and that makes me question again. And it doesn't. I'm saying this not because I question the high stature of our club. I'm not questioning it to say that we can't afford these players, because I don't think finance would actually be an issue. But I'm actually being realistic here. The repeated conversation about us purchasing Jude Bellingham, I believe, is a fallacy. And the reason why I'm saying that is this. His default will probably be about 100 mil, all right? And that's excluding whether he has an amazing World Cup or not, right? So I still can't see us actually being in a position to purchase Jude Bellingham come January or end of the season, knowing that it's not just one player in our midfield that we're going to need to be able to improve. I still believe we're probably going to need another 2 midfielders alongside Jude Bellingham to actually strengthen that. So as much as people keep saying Jude Bellingham coming to Liverpool, would I like it? Yes. Do I believe that it's going to be a realization? Unfortunately, no. That's just my opinion.
Okay, so so kind of going like back to your comment, which is absolutely fair, regarding buying the elite players. You can switch it and say, okay, well, if we don't buy the elite players and like we can only buy players on like, you know, the potential value, it makes Liverpool even more of a joke, because like if you're looking at Mane, Salah, and Bobby in their prime, shouldn't we have bought another influx of potential players to literally back those up, and also in midfield? Because again, Thiago is you know what, Thiago, he's a class as an A-class player, right? He's a kind of elite, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's elite, but not in his prime. So that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about we should be able to attract prime players. And my opinion is I don't think we have in the past. And at the moment, I still don't think we're in a position to actually do that. That's just my opinion. I don't think we do. Which is a concern.
But again, you can also look at the Man City model and literally take away Haaland. You know, let's kind of take him away. They don't buy like A-class players, but there's a very active conveyor belt there that, like, you know, every single player that comes in there, they like know their role. And they
do you know the only thing I question on that, Fabrice? You see, if you got a club like Man City who can spend £49 million on Nathan Ake. 49 million pounds. That means that their pocket is nice, you know. In my opinion, we cannot afford to be paying 49 million pounds. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. We paid 52 million pounds for Naby Keita, but we can't afford to be paying that type of money.
As well, we paid 40 million pounds for Ox as well. We paid 40 million pounds for Ox. So let's not like pretend that we don't have money, because we do.
Right. So yeah, we do have money.
No, but we don't have the ability to spend it like them, though.
Yeah, they can spend that money and stockpile.
Yeah, we don't. Their pockets are long. There's no ifs. There's no two ways about that. We can't compare our spending with theirs. There's no way we can do that. And we all know that. That's a fact.
So you think that if like we put in a bid for Nathan Ake for 40 million, that he wouldn't have come to Liverpool, knowing that Klopp's there, and actually knowing that he would probably have more chance of playing regularly? Because again, like Nathan, like even though like we've like said his name, he's actually doing bits now. Like he's like one of their like first choice centre backs right now.
Yeah, he's playing regular now. He is playing regular now. He is playing regular.
I wouldn't want Nathan
look at it like this.
anywhere
I'll tell you
near
this
Liverpool.
now. If Man City and Liverpool go in for the same player, basically, that player's agent will try to get his boy the best deal. So if it comes to wages, we're in a lose-lose situation. Because we can't keep up with what they want to. If they really want the guy, we can't keep up with them in what they'll be prepared to pay in wages to what we will. It's not gonna work. Definitely not gonna work. Okay, so let me just run to the panel quickly. Do remember, peoples, please do press that like button, that share, and subscribe. So Devs B is saying Pep Linda's in waiting. Also, again to Brees, Tuchel is not for LFC. He lacks that human touch, and there is a reason why Tuchel has not delivered the trophies he should have with the teams he's managed.
But didn't he win the Champions League?
This is not to me, bro. You don't look like you're talking to me, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
don't take out your bad mood on me, bro.
I'm just.
I don't know who stole the jam out your donut, bro.
Huh? Everyone thinks it's like Klopp and there's no one else. Like Klopp has done amazing for like Liverpool in the past. Like they always say you are like only as good as your last game. Okay,
and he won his last game.
Okay, well, Napoli then.
And you're still heading him. You're still against a team who that's the first time they've been beaten all season.
Oh, come on, man! Like Napoli had already qualified. Like,
do you know what I like about this? Do you know what I like about both of these statements? Aren't stats absolutely beautiful? Because sometimes they can flicker what the realization is in it. RT's got a valid point. And Therese has got a valid point. And that's why this is a prime example of sometimes why stats can just be out there and not mean much. Interesting.
All right, before you continue, Therese, Biggie's got something for you. He said Therese should speak again for the night. Eddie, however, or Tuchel. He's not impressed. Just like your James WP comment. Not impressed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Again, with my guy James WP, he'd be doing bits in that Liverpool team right now. And please tell me I'm lying. Please
the
tell
only
me.
reason he'd be doing bits is because he'd probably be fit.
So that's something, though, right?
That's the only thing.
It's a strange thing it's a strange thing, and as you said, I think on previous shows, obviously you've mentioned about the qualities that James Ward-Prowse has been able to demonstrate over a period of time at Southampton, and why he would be a possible good fit for Liverpool. And in fairness, he has been consistent over a long period of time. Whether he can make that transition to obviously play at the elite level with Liverpool, you know what the thing is, we're never ever gonna know. So hey, look, it's fine. It's good. It's all good.
He could be another case of what do you call it? Of Zaha.
That could have been at that level.
Prospects. Everyone's looking at him now. He's the main man down there at Crystal Palace. But can he make that transition and step up? Vinny, we love you too, bro. Don't worry, mate. Vinny keeps saying the transition is real. He said, I keep saying this.
Yeah.
I think all the comments to that are just to Brees. The man is not a magician. He has worked wonders by making good players brilliant, so behave. This is something that we were just talking about just now. The players that he's brought in. For real. Hey, this is real. This is real, mate. I think the 2 years of COVID have also scuppered investment. to talk about that on my days to beats. Okay, so I think we get another season of transition simply because come 23, 24, Van Dijk, Matip, Salah, etc. will have another year of mileage on the clock. So 2024, 25 will see us return.
I think even going back to what Vinny was saying about transition, you know, one of the things, and I think I mentioned it previously, in terms of transition and bringing in new players, we still have to remember at the end of the season, and correct me on this, right? Bobby's out of contract here. I cannot envisage James Milner getting an extension to his contract. Ox would have moved on, and Naby would have moved on. All right. So if we just think of those 4 players that are a part of our squad, Liverpool will be forced to make sure that we have more players in. Whoever there will be, I have absolutely no idea. But Liverpool will actually be forced to make sure we have 4 players actually coming back in. So that transition, once again, we're going to see how that affects our team for this season and going into next season as well.
Okay, very true. Very, very true. So Bingy says, where was this talk last season? Because from what I'm hearing, this was all concerning from last season, but yet no one on the panel was saying this. I'm in shock. Wow.
No. Bingy, I question that because you know why? Bingy, you were actually with us on the panel for a lot of last season, and your points were so valid as well. They were valid, they were critical, they were appreciated, and you were consistent with your thoughts. The one thing that I would say that we always mentioned on the panel was, how do we strengthen? Because even though we were winning, we were all fully aware of the areas in which that we needed to strengthen, who we were thinking that we would purchase as well, and the areas of improvement. So that's the only thing that I would question. And Bingy, you were with us all the way, sir.
Okay. Yep, as we said before, we don't pick A-class players, we create them. Well done, Vinny. Vinny, Torres was on the cusp and LFC took him to the level he was before the injury.
But look how long that was ago, Vinny. When
No. He's retorting to what Tabriz said. Remember, Tabriz said called him like an A-class that we bought. And Vinny's saying he was actually on the cusp, but we brought him to that level.
I think like Torres was a legend at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And we buy players to fit our model, not just buy great players.
Yeah, but what model have we got now? We
have Tabriz. We got a very good model. Injury prone.
Mache model.
Injury prone.
Yeah, paper mache, bro.
Yeah. Mannequins. We have mannequins straight.
Naby and Ox were meant to be first team players.
That's true. That's
Nathan Ake's first choice now by default.
No, he's
because they have got some injuries at centre back, ain't they?
Yeah, but who are they playing there? Is it the young? Is it
Stones? Is
Ajani? Ajani, the young guy.
Yeah,
he started playing.
He's good. He's nice.
Yeah,
he's actually decent.
I like him a lot.
Thank you very much, Vinny. Do remember, spread the word, man. Spread the word. Tuchel also has lost 3 cup finals in a row.
True. That's true.
Vinny said if JWP came to the NFC, he'd get a muscle injury too. Yeah, I could probably well believe that at all, mate. As he signs, he'd probably get injured.
Oh my god!
How can we go from Klopp to Eddie Howe? We'd be a laughing stock. I'm not so sure, you know.
Exactly.
My man, for me, I'm not saying but I'm telling you, for me, he's proving his worth right now, 100%. And when actually Newcastle went in for him, I was like, yep, that's a great move. Great move for Newcastle. I think he's going to do well for them. Now he's got money to spend as well. We'll really see. But in saying that, you have to look and you have to give these people time, for me. Because the people already saying, Potter out, this, that, and the other at Chelsea. But you need to give these people time. Look at what happened with Arteta. Now he's been given time and to get his philosophy of playing football across to the players. You know what I mean? After a while, he's doing well now. You need to give managers time. So for me, the jury's still out on Eddie Howe. He's doing bits, but I want to see how he continues throughout the rest of the season. For me, that's what I want to see. Because every team like that, they have a spell of doing well. Can they maintain? That's what we need to look at.
Yeah, it's true.
What's the Breeze on tonight? He's really depressing me. Cheer up, bro. It's not all that bad.
Okay. All right. Okay. So people keep, people keep. All right.
Yo,
all right. Okay. So
our callers are calling the Samaritans, bro.
Okay, unless this is like with the utmost respect. People keep getting my name wrong. I've seen Fabrice. I've seen Fabrice. I've seen
Fabrice Mwamba.
I've seen everything today. So that's what's depressing me. People can't get my name right.
People, it's Mr. R&B, yeah? Can't get that wrong. You can't get that wrong. Okay, Bingy. I agree with that Stoney, but what he wasn't talking like, we went to clock out. We and the world can see the mid is tired and must need replacing. Klopp isn't going to do what Rafa did. He's too loyal to them.
Exactly.
So, but you see, and to Priest, and this goes back to what I was saying as well about Tabriz making a valid point as well, right? Is Klopp too loyal to some of the players that have actually let him down? And Tabriz has articulated that on numerous shows as well, and that could be the fault that Klopp continually has. So I understand and I get it, and that's what I was saying. If you listen to what Patrice has actually said, he's articulated it. Klopp may not be doing himself the service or giving himself the time that he needs to, because players are letting him down, and those are the players that he's putting trust in.
Okay. Really says that Eddie Howe talks like one of those librarians who keeps telling a group of kids to keep the noise down. Shh. And the team, and that would cost him.
Yeah. Binky's right.
Yeah. No, very true. Very true. Yeah, very true. Yeah. So, gentlemen, question for you lot then. If at the start of the season we had the squad that we have now, but everybody fully fit, do you think we'd still be in the same position?
Yes. Yes.
Tabriz?
100%.
Okay, why so?
For me, for my personal opinion, I don't even think it's to do with the players that are available or unavailable. There's a complete contrast to how we were playing last season. I have absolutely no idea what it's to do with. If you think of it this season, right, as an example, and I correct me once again, all right, and I don't think it's just to do with injuries. One thing we've actually said in previous season is that we don't want to be predictable when we're playing, all right? So if we look at previous seasons, we played our 4-3-3. Regardless of what players have played in it, we've played that 4-3-3, all right? This season, we've played 4-3-3, we played 4-4-2, we played a 4-2-3-1. So we're not as predictable, but I don't think he's actually served us well. That could be to do with us, as I said, being unpredictable so the teams don't know us. Is it to do with injuries? Is it to do with formations? Is it to do with Klopp trying something different? So going back to your original question that you asked, even if all of the players were still fit, I still believe that we'd be in the same position that we're in right now. Because even if all of the players were fit, what players would we be picking? I can only throw that back at you. If they were all fully fit, what players would we be picking?
I think if like Liverpool had the squad that they had last season, and I think we've all said it on this show, we could all pick the starting 11 with our eyes closed. We knew exactly who was playing and how they would play. And as elite athletes that have a certain prima donna about them, sometimes the same message will fall on deaf ears. And I think that's the issue right now. It's the same. I can actually imagine before a game and at halftime, everyone knows what Klopp's going to say. And, you know, they're probably in their own world. I can like probably even imagine that sometimes that the dressing room is quiet at halftime because everyone's looking around and thinking, oh, you know, can we do something different? It's so predictable. Okay, yes, we have changed formation because of the injuries. But like the best managers, the elite managers, know how to reinvent themselves as well as the team. And like we've seen it with Sir Alex Ferguson, with and with Pep as well. You know, and actually Klopp has been the same way from day dot until now. And after a while, those players will take liberties like we're seeing now at home against Leeds, not prepared to do the basics, which is running. Now that's saying something. I'm sorry, like, no, I don't know. I do care when we get beat, but actually, when you can see the effort, then that's cool. But when those type of stats are there right in front of you at Anfield, come on now, like, you know, people are not buying what Klopp's selling now. Like those sweets have gone off. Like you know, like the plantain is too ripe. It's too ripe now. So things have to change.
Okay, just stick a pin, gentlemen, for you quickly, right? We're going to move on. Bingy saying we can't go from Klopp to Eddie. Their CV are incompatible. That's not the same level manager. Okay. And he says, okay, Stoney, but I'm still saying Klopp in. Right. Now, according to what you guys just said about the question I just asked with our positioning, I've got 2 comments here that I want to read out. So the first one I'm going to read out is Desby says no. He says we would be top 4. He says he's certain. And Soshi, welcome. Good evening, Soshi. I know you've joined in late, but thank you very much. He says, no, I disagree with you, boys. We wouldn't be where we are now. Injured players have disjointed the starting 11 and has disrupted the introduction of younger players.
Can I throw that back at Soshi?
Of course you can.
Brilliant.
That's the whole point, bro.
So even if all of our, and this is just an example, Soshi, just a query, okay? Even if we're just speaking about our players that were not injured, if we just focus on our midfield, all right? And this has got nothing to do with injury by why I'm saying this. I think it's to do with performance. For whatever reason, Fabinho has not been at the level that he's need to, and that's not to do with injury, all right? Henderson has not been at the level that he's needed to, and that's not to do with injury, all right? Thiago is always injured, all right? So we'll just put it out there. So the only other than midfielder that could have been in if we played the 4-3-3 would have been Harvey Elliott. So our only consistent player in midfield has been Harvey Elliott. Forget about Curtis Jones. Naby doesn't play, and Ox doesn't play. And really, if you look at it, Carvalho, he's not really a midfielder on the left-hand side. He's more of the top left-hand forward where Diaz has been playing. So we would still have been in that same position if we think about in the midfield. If we think about defensively, Robbo's been in and out, but when Tsimikas has played, he hasn't been too bad. All right. Trent's performance, and it's not to do with injury, has been indifferent. Nothing to do with injury, and I would like to believe that most people would agree. Van Dijk's performance has not been very good at his own standard this season. Nothing to do with injury, and it's the same thing with Matip and Gomez. So that's why I believe, regardless of injury, we would still have been in the position that we actually are in now. Soshi, I'll throw it over to you when you're ready, sir. Just put your reply in the comment.
Okay. Wow. This is really a very interesting one, I must say. I think we've mentioned Napoli once in an hour. We've mentioned Napoli once in an hour. My days.
Oh gosh.
I don't even know if I want to bring that up now because
go ahead.
Burst my bubble. You know what I mean?
Okay,
well, just tell me about that when it's just papering over the cracks.
I mean, what's the point? Yeah, like we've qualified for the next round. Let's kind of move on. Let's kind of talk about the more pressing stuff. in terms of where like Liverpool are going to finish in the league. Like Champions League, great. Like we already qualified. Wonderful.
Okay. So if Klopp goes on to win a trophy, then beat the Champions League or the cup again, or what? What does that do for us going forward?
Listen, that could be quite interesting. Guess what? We could end up finishing 5th or 6th and winning Champions League. That would be the most bizarre situation, but it could still also be a realistic situation. It's really strange. That could be a possibility.
100%.
So look, literally, that gives Klopp an additional 10 to 15 games next season to save his job. If he like just something like that. Because
Vinny, that is Vinny. I don't know why you're putting it out there, Vinny. Thinks we're going to get Bayern in the next round. The return of Mane.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
let's see what Swashi's got to say. The drop off from last year has been frightening. I didn't expect it at all.
No one did.
Yeah.
Big shouts, Leon B, saying wishful thinking. Big shouts for joining us, Leon B. Remember, yeah, keep pressing that share and that subscribe, man. It's all about Kop Talk on a Thursday night. I tell you, come and have your say. We'll hear your views, have your debates. Loving it. Do remember Global Mapping, our sponsors? Find them at www.globalmappingsurveys.co.uk. Yeah. Do you remember, gentlemen? Okay. So, are you feeling better now, Tobias? Have you loosened?
No. Cause listen, you know what we.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
kind of glad we're not in the same room, bro.
we every single Thursday we all love our team, and we are very optimistic about everything that Liverpool do. But sometimes, and hopefully someone from the hierarchy at Liverpool listens to something like this. We're not happy. Just because we talk in a certain way and we're not effing and blinding, that doesn't mean that Liverpool can kind of get away with just stripping us, because it's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. And okay, Leeds won. Okay, great. Okay, well, and I had so many messages. Great, thanks. And that really wound me up as well. And then beating Napoli wound me up even more. Because I'm thinking, okay, well, Napoli supposedly are better than Leeds. And then we get a clean sheet, but we can't do crap all against Leeds. It's just not on. I'm sorry, it's just not on at all.
Okay. Do you think as well though? We've spoken about, I've brought this up before, about sometimes not really the professionalism of our team, but that these smaller teams, that's their cup final, so they raise their game that 20% more, and we might find it hard to get up for them teams. But obviously, it's Man City. It's a big one, man. Everybody's watching. It's global. There's a big build up to the game. There's no build up to Liverpool Leeds. You know what I mean? When you're watching Sky Sports, you see the build up. This come the Super Sunday, blah blah blah. There's little adverts, little clip bits. There's a build up to it.
But again,
the players don't watch that as well.
But again, it comes down to personal pride. When you wake up every morning, do you leave your bed messy? When you go to Anfield, and no matter what team that you face, you do again the basics. Losing is part of life. No one's perfect. Yes, we went on a crazy run at Anfield, which is amazing, and it was bound. We were bound to lose. And yeah, we we lost against Leeds, but again, it's the way, it's the manner. There was no effort. Now, if any of you two can tell me that we deserve to beat Leeds, and you guys can actually say that the effort was was satisfactory, then I don't know what to say, because it wasn't, right? I mean, am I wrong by saying that?
No, I don't think so.
No,
But
no.
like I
I
said,
can't
once again,
disagree.
we did have chances. We may have had the effort, but we still created chances, and we didn't finish them.
Mm.
And it is, the end of the day, is about taking your chances. That's what it comes down to. So she says, players playing within themselves, especially Verge. We're going to see a different Liverpool after the World Cup. I'm convinced of that. Pipes 71, nice of you to join us, Pipes. Thanks for coming on board. The drop-off is quite simple to understand. The intense pressing style of football Klopp plays is not sustainable with the same group of players for more than probably 3 to 4 seasons.
That's a good point. Can I just comment on it, if it's okay? Thanks very much once again for tuning in, Pipe 71. This is a Spurs historian. He's featured on the Paxton Road quite a few times as well. So thanks for tuning in, Pipes. Congratulations with Spurs qualifying for the next stage of the Champions League, and hopefully Son's injury is not as detrimental as you guys would like. Hopefully he'll be able to return and feature for the World Cup, but he will not feature for over this weekend against you boys. All right. So my question with this Pipes, with your comment, is that's a valid point about the players not being able to sustain that level that Klopp has asked us to actually play over the last 3-4 seasons. But this season, we've actually had an introduction from some new players. So we'll just give an example. Diaz would have been fairly new. Elliot would have been fairly new from coming back from his injury. Carvalho would have been new as well. So those are some new additions to the players. And I don't just think it's the intensity. There's other factors as well why we're not playing at the level that we expect our great club for playing at. Interesting.
Okay. I hear what you're saying, Stoney. But the only thing I'd say is with that is Carvalho hasn't really played.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the one thing I would say, is that Carvalho hasn't really played. Okay. Vinny says, not going to lie, I think the Spurs game is going to be one of the most boring games to watch this season. That means we've become the LFC of the Rafa era. Beat big teams and lose to jokers. 2009, we only lost 2 games and didn't win the league.
Oof.
Lost that year to Middlesbrough. Yep. Oh, yes. Really, you're bringing back some memories now, mate. The squad needs freshening up. These players have nothing left to give physically. And Pipes is saying, yep, he had the same issues with Pochettino. Really saying basically the hunger has gone. That's another one. Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think that because they think they've done it all now that they can rest on their laurels?
Well, I mean, that's literally why you need to freshen up your squad every season, and every season you can add 1 or 2% of the squad that you want for the for the next 3 or 4 years, and then the transition will be seamless. But like our kind of transition is literally for everyone to see our like weaknesses, our like strengths. It's just and again, that's why City do it well. Manchester United used to do it well. Even like Arsenal, in their pomp, well, they're kind of doing it now. Like they've kind of refreshed slowly, and again, I kind of go back to what I said last week, and I said this is, and I said it at the beginning of this show. I believe this is new for Klopp as well. I believe. I think after this season, Klopp would have been at Liverpool for 8 years, the longest.
Yeah, after the season,
yeah, the longest reign that he's had at a professional club. So even he's trying to figure certain things out.
Okay. In response to your comment, Stoney, Pipes is 71 is saying, but the core of your team has been with you for the last few seasons, and they are physically burnt out, basically.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Really, the hunger has gone amongst the senior players. Then he goes on to say, but Milner is always hungry. You got that right. Got that right. Bingy, what's Bingy got to say now? I think a lot of our players are starting to play within themselves as the World Cup soon start. A lot of players at most clubs are having injuries. They don't want to miss the World Cup. We did mention this a few weeks back. Do you think players would do that? This team played every game on offer to them last year. Of course, we're going to look effed up. And by the way, Soshi, it's not actually Soshi. This is using his son's account. It's my boys in one of my WhatsApp groups, the one I was talking about last time, KopTalkers. So big shouts goes out to you, Amit, mate. Nice to have you on board. Do you remember? Tell a friend to tell a friend. So you can go back in the group now and tell them guys, get on board next time, yeah? Don't worry, my boys are great at rehabilitating teams, particularly with our currently sitting back conceded session. Outside of football, so you should get at least a draw. They're letting us down and themselves, and a good amount need to be sold ASAP, says Bingy. Yeah, oh, definitely. There's B. I honestly think Klopp would like to buy 2 or 3 quality players each season, but it's the owners denying him. But isn't this a point why Tuchel left Chelsea because of players who they wanted to bring in and who he didn't want to bring in? So there was a falling out. I'm sure it's over the Ronaldo saga.
Yeah, there was one of which, that was in part, and I think when the new owner came in, I think one of the things that he wanted Tuchel to do was make the transition through. So any of the youth squads, under 18s and under 21s, there would actually be the transition from those players from there coming up to the first team, and then for them to be sharing tactical approaches, XYZ. I think Tuchel basically said, listen, I manage the first team, not anybody underneath me, so don't question me. So I think Yona just said, all right, I'll tell you what, here's your papers, enjoy the time with your family.
Yeah. Here's your P45 and about £6 million. Yeah. And on your bike. I'll gladly take that P45, bro. I'm going to look for another one. Frig that. Yeah. £6 million and I'm off. I don't mind that, man. Yes. All right. So we're going to take a few more before we close up. So perhaps say Desby agreed. I definitely feel Clippity Klopp is frustrated.
Clippity Klopp.
And it's coming out in the interviews.
That's funny. That's funny.
Okay. Doing a great job, boys. Keep it up. Pause. We'll defo be tuning in more regularly. All right. Brilliant. Nice one, Amit. Nice to hear that, my friend. Okay. So, gentlemen, we have the Spuds coming up on Sunday. What's that going to look like?
Well, I mean, Dave, it's interesting because obviously scraped through that last game against Marseille. What's his name? Joyberg was trying to play like prime Gerrard. So when they scored that goal, the only thing that Harry Kane didn't do was streak. So they got that result. They're going to be coming into this game over the weekend, 4:30 on a Sunday with confidence. So we'll be going to the Shiny Stadium down in London, and I'm confident we're going to get a result there. I mean, the thing is, even though Tottenham's playing at home, as Pipe said, they're going to play defensively. I'm not too sure what is the Kulu's still out. I'm not too sure of the level of Richarlison. So if Son's not playing, if Kulusevski's not playing, and if Richarlison's not playing, it's going to be interesting to see how Tottenham set up and approach that game. So I think that's what's going to be quite interesting.
Might be a Lucas Moura.
True. So yeah. So you're right. I think somebody said in the feed it can end up being quite a boring game. I think for us, look, we got 2 more Premiership games to go before we break up for the World Cup. In between Derby, we need to go down. We need to go up to White Hart Lane and get those 3 points.
100%. Okay, so to Brees.
I think Vinny's kind of hit the nail on the head, really, and also, is it Debbie's?
Desby.
Yeah.
See, now you're getting people's name wrong. Oh, you see?
Score draw. Score draw. I think it's going to be one of those games where I'll be tuning in. I'll have my popcorn, salted, by the way.
Yeah, you sound very salty tonight, I tell ya.
Well, and yeah, listen, you know what? If we lose on Sunday, it's it's good night Vienna, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how again that the players come out and actually react to the media attention. Yes, there's a World Cup, which probably gives Liverpool and probably other teams as well that kind of needed rest. But when you think about the transfer market after the World Cup, it's just crazy.
Of course it is.
And knowing Liverpool, we don't go out and spend money just on a whim. And players that they've probably, been like targeting are gonna go to the World Cup or whatever the situation is. But regarding the Spurs game, yeah, score draw.
Okay.
2 own goals. How about that?
Wow. So Vinny says draw. 0-0 or 1-1. Bingy reckons it will be 2-1. Amit saying 2-2 or 3-2 to us. Pipe 71 says good show, lads. No Son, no Cooley, no Richie. Hopefully he plays 3 in the midfield. No place for the overgrown teenager Mora, but it's a draw for me. See, all right, gentlemen. See, Vinny's hungry again, man. Say what? No quiz.
We'll do it next week.
Okay. I'm in no mood for a quiz, to be honest.
Yeah, I can listen. I can tell, bro.
No,
I can tell. I had it ready. I ain't gonna lie, I had it ready, but I saw the mood from early, so you know what I mean? I'm not in the mood for you know what I mean? No. We can leave that. We can leave that.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, it's all about Sunday. Was it 4:30 kickoff?
Yeah, 4:30.
4:30 kickoff. We take on the Spuds. It's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be separated by 1 goal, to be fair. That game, for me. It's going to be separated by 1 goal. Oh, my days. What is he saying now? The World Cup will ruin the January transfer window, 100%. Teams will be doing deals in Jan for new season. El Hadju style signing incoming.
Oh, don't please.
One thing I will say before we go, lads, is that I'm getting good reports that, well, I don't know if it's good, but reports that Liverpool are definitely looking to go for a midfielder in January.
That is as in a loan or actually going out actually purchasing?
No, actually going to buy someone.
I think my only concern with that is it would be encouraging if we had an idea of who it is, because there's a lot of midfielders out there. There's a lot of midfielders that we have bought and they've been like a bag of crisps.
What's his name again? Is it Lamira? Plays for, I think, is it Leipzig?
Okay.
I think he's Austrian or something like that. If I remember rightly. Yeah, okay. It's Austrian. Lamira. That's the one who they've been trying to work on at the moment. He says the briefs have a lie down in a dark room after this. and play some Beethoven or some Bach or something, man. On low. You know what I mean? Have a chamomile tea. Chills you out. You get me? Chills you out. Right. My peoples, we are definitely say good night, God bless on this one. Thank you very much for joining us, peoples. And do remember, we are definitely be back here next week, Thursday, 10 o'clock. As standard, Cop Talk. That's our time. That's our spot. It's our airwaves right there. Yeah? So we're going to say good night, Mr. Stoney.
Good night. Thank you very much, Artie. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Your comments have been valid. And we appreciate you guys tuning in.
I love that. Good night, Grumpy.
I hate you all.
He's not even saying good night.
Good night.
Oh, class.
Oh my gosh. Someone stole the jam out of his donut. Don't worry, man. Fabrice,
Yeah.
we'll definitely see you next week. Thanks very much for tuning in, people. Do remember, keep it Cop Talk, yeah? Peace and love always.